Hi there, I'm so glad that you joined us. This is our Healing Hangout for the healing powers of essential oils. I am Anna Holden, intuitive healer with annaholden.com, and this is Diane Brewster, essential oil expert. So we're really excited to have you here today. We're going to be talking about essential oil use, especially for highly sensitive people. So when I met Diane, I met her at a conference, actually, where she was giving little hand massages with essential oils and just basically teaching people about how they can use them in their everyday life. And we started talking, and we've had time together besides that, and I really wanted to know how to use essential oils for highly sensitive people. So we're going to be talking about how to use oils to protect ourselves from the moods and emotions of others, how to really help us hold a safe space while we're interacting with others so we don't constantly give to other people, and really that's kind of building this internal sense of self-esteem and self-worth. What else are we going to talk about? Yeah, and a few other things. Oh, how to deal with overwhelm and the different types of overwhelm, sensory overwhelm and things like that. And so we have a lot of information. So we do have some notes here for excuse us. So excuse us when we look at our notes. So we're really excited for this information. And I'm going to let Diane introduce herself to you.
All right. Well, hi there. I've been doing essential oils, using them exclusively for my natural health care for about 3 years now, and have just adored them for so many different things. And like many people, when I started using the oils, it was all about physical things that I wanted to do to help me out with. And so one of the things that I started to notice is that when I used oils for specific things that I needed to use over the long term, that I started to notice some other things happening on an emotional level that were healing. So I started to look into that. And one of the things that really made me start to look at oil specifically for highly sensitive people was when after I took your class. It's an awesome class.
Thank you.
And I used it, I took your class basically because I was really burnt out, and I just felt like I was stuck in this rut and couldn't get out. And it was really wonderful, all the techniques that you taught. Even after the first week, I really started to feel a change and a shift. And so, and then as part of your class, you talked about essential oils, and it made me really start to think about how I use the essential oils, because up to that time, I was always thinking about, these different little maladies that I was experiencing. And, fatigue and sort of immune depletion, and then just one little illness after the other. And in taking your class, I realized that there was sort of this overarching part of it that was just so normal for my behavior that I didn't realize that what I was doing was always giving to other people and putting myself last, until I would get so burnt out that, emotionally and physically, I really was in decline.
Yeah.
And that so I started looking at essential oils in more of that bigger picture of how to use them in that way that sort of heals and addresses some of those underlying things that those of us who are highly sensitive tend to get into habits with and don't even realize that that's what we're doing. So that's what I was thinking about for today. And I know, while I was deciding which oils to talk about, because there are so many that I love.
There are a lot.
And I will say, for folks who are new to essential oils, that they're not like the cooking oils that we have. They're more volatile oils. They're oils that the plants make specifically to protect themselves in the environment, which is why they work so well for us, because our bodies are made of similar things. So our bodies can recognize that chemistry of the essential oils and use it really readily.
Right. So really, we're talking about healing on a really deep level. We're not talking about something that comes in and creates a Band-Aid. You know, I'll give an example. I went over to Diane's house to have a consultation with her, and she had some cats, and I didn't know that beforehand. I'm pretty allergic to cats, and I was having an allergic reaction that day anyway. And she immediately said, oh, here, let me whip you up this essential oil concoction. And I took that, and my allergy symptoms just subsided. But I didn't get the side effects of, you know, the grogginess or the dryness that generally comes with taking medications, because medications are generally a synthetic form of something that they're trying to mimic in nature, but our bodies don't recognize it because our bodies evolved with plants. And so our bodies recognize that, you know, that whole plant, our bodies are like, oh yeah, I know what to do with that. Right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I love about using essential oils is that they're, unlike the synthetic stuff that is sort of mainstream medicine, essential oils really are balancers. Like, our bodies know how to use them, so our bodies take them in and then use it how it needs to. So we're not like trying to push our body this way or turn off that. Our body, it just helps the body to balance. And that's true for the physical things, like you found out with the allergies, but also for emotions. So this is one of the things that I love about the oils. They're really safe.
Right. And it really, what it sounds like is we're talking about vibrational healing here. And in my sensitive self-defense course, we talk about vibrational healing, as we do in another healing hangout that I did with Megan Carroll. And so what you'll find is that even if you start using the essential oils for something like allergies, they're going to affect you on deeper levels because everything is connected, right? Everything resonates at these different vibrations. Physical relates to emotional, relates to something even more subtle. So we start to heal all of the layers at once with these essential oils.
That is so true.
Awesome.
So true. So the first set of oils that I was looking at is what so many of us highly sensitive folks worry about, is like, how do I protect myself when I go out into the world? And the oils that I use are a specific brand called doTerra. I love to use these oils because it's so important to use oils that are pure, that there's nothing in them that shouldn't be there. There's no fillers, no synthetics, no pollutants. And also that you know that every time it has the same potency, so that you can really depend on the oils to do what you want them to do. And I did a lot of research, and I have found that over these last 3 years that has all been true about this particular brand. So that's why I use this one. So the first oil on the protection list is called On Guard. It's a blend of oils. And I'll let you just smell that and give us.
I get to have the fun on this part. All right.
Sorry, you have to miss that part about the lovely aromas.
Oh wow, it's kind of woodsy and spicy. And so there are so many ways to work with these oils, and one of the first things I like to do is just notice what I notice intuitively about it. So we'll do a little bit of that, and then Diane's going to give an explanation too. But what I notice about this is I start to kind of feel almost a fire igniting within, and it seems to pull my insides in stronger and kind of put up a protective boundary based on the core of who I am. So that's kind of what I noticed. That's the picture that I got when I looked at it. So tell me about how On Guard helps with protecting ourselves from the energy of others.
And that is exactly what this does.
Awesome.
It was actually initially made to help on a physical level, to help guard our bodies from bacteria and mold.
Oh, that makes sense.
And but what they also found, as people were using it on that energetic level, it helps protect people by being able to be aware of your own energetic space. So it's really, really great for people who have sort of that weakened sense of their own space, their own personal boundary.
That makes so much sense. I mean, and you were in sensitive self-defense, you know, the first thing we talk about is pulling ourselves inside, and that's what I noticed with that oils. It was like, oh, it drew me in and then created a boundary from that place. You know, it wasn't that I was pushing people away or pushing myself back, but I was strengthening and creating protective boundary.
Yes, and that is what this one is really known for, is that you can see where your boundary is, and you're really aware of your own energy, and you are aware of when you have allowed somebody else's energies in. And the thing that I love about this is it really doesn't put you in that aggressive space or pushing away space, which of course we know just brings in more of the same.
Right.
So, from a really neutral space, just by being aware of it, we're able to then release those energies that aren't ours, that we don't really need anymore.
That's awesome. Starting to kind of have discernment about what's ours and what's not, and creating a nice place to stand.
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. And I'm sure there are other oils that help us with protection.
There is, and there are actually so many oils that will do these, but I'm just picking out one or two so we can talk about some of the main issues that highly sensitive people deal with.
And actually, before we go on, how do I use On Guard? How do I use that oil?
Yeah. So really, aromatically is a really good way to use the essential oils. Just because of, it's like, this is how our brain, they're finding, is actually set up to heal from smells through aroma. And so there's a whole system, a limbic system, and sorry, I never say this, amygdala.
Yeah, I know.
And so that as you're breathing in the aroma, you're actually getting these small molecules, particles that goes directly into your brain system. And your body then takes it where it wants to. When it gets in your brain starts to release neurotransmitters that relate to that. So aromatically is a really fast way to get effects from the oils.
And that really relates well to traditional Ayurvedic knowledge that often uses nasya oil, where herbs are cooked into oil that you take through your nose, and that's to create changes in the brain or in the nervous system. That's the fastest way to get medicine there. So that's awesome. I love when science catches up to what some of the ancient traditions have known for a long time.
Yeah, I know. It's so funny. And so one of the really easy ways to get the aromatic effect, of course, is to open the bottle and smell it, like you did with On Guard. But you can also take it and just put a couple drops in your hand, rub your hands together, and then cup and inhale, because you will still get the same aroma and the molecules. But another great way to do it also is, and it sounds so funny, but to put the oils on the bottoms of your feet. It's a really powerful way. The pores in the bottoms of our feet are the largest on our bodies, and where a lot of the meridians end.
Right.
And so your body will just pull the oils in and use it how it needs to use it.
Oh, that's great. And so are all of your oils safe to use on the skin, or do some have caution about putting them right on the skin?
There are some that you want to be careful of, and most of the ones that I'm going to talk about today are oils that you can put on your skin with no problem. There is one in particular, and I will mention that one when we get there.
Let's save it for that.
And so the second oil that for protection is an oil called Terra Shield. I don't know if you want to smell this one again.
Sure, and why don't you just explain it while I smell it?
Sure. This oil, it's a lovely oil. It was made to repel bugs. It does not smell like a bug repellent. It is a lovely, lovely scent. A lot of people wear it for perfume. But one of the things that they found is that it is really, really good for people who tend to merge with other people's energy, which makes us susceptible to being bullied, or for people who want to come in and control and dominate. And so this oil, in a very neutral, very easy way, works really well to help keep your boundaries and also help keep us safe. It's like we let go of our resistance to the things that we fear. And then also when you let go of resistance, you have less coming at you because there's nothing for it to stick to. So we become less targets. And this is a great one to wear on your wrists. I like to put it on the mastoid bones behind my ears. I've had some really fantastic experiences with that myself, in a work situation where there was one person who just loved to bully people in the meetings. And so I wore it one time, and this person did not bully me or anybody else in the meeting, and in fact went up and thanked people for all the great work they did, that they had never ever done that before. So it not only affects us, but it affects the other people around us. So that's one of the things, is when you wear the oils, you don't have to worry, well, how do I make this person stop behaving this way? As long as you have the oils on, it will have that effect.
That's awesome. And the picture that I got was almost like this golden umbrella coming down around me, like really subtle, but also weaving its way into almost like a thin sort of like chainmail or something like that. Just kind of that puts up a really subtle layer of protection that's also very strong. So that's what I noticed. Cool.
And it smells like flowers.
It does. It's really
amazing.
Nice smell. It doesn't smell like, mosquito repellent or anything like that. It's very floral and sweet.
Yes,
actually.
It is a very sweet smell.
Yeah, that was really
not
nice.
too sweet though. It's because a lot of people do wear it for perfume.
Yeah, it's not. It's not super, but yeah, it's really nice. Yeah, it's really nice.
I'm so sorry you don't get to experience that with us today.
Well, you do if you stick around to the end and take advantage of some of our gifts. So stay with us.
Yes.
All right. So, and then there are some other protection oils that you talked about that are often the components of these mixes, because these are mixes of oils. These are blends that doTerra creates, right? So you really can only buy these from doTerra, okay? But talk about some of the other just regular oils that help us with protection.
Sure. Clove is one of them, and that is one of the oils in the On Guard blend. And it helps us to connect into our own personal integrity so that we're not overly influenced by other people and by situations. So we can stay grounded and stay clear about what our interests are and what we want, which is so easy for highly sensitive people to give away in the moment when things start to get critical. Yeah. And there are other two great oils to use if some of your issues are with owning your space and having your boundaries with women. Myrrh is a great oil for that. And if you tend more towards having issues around men and having your boundaries with men, then frankincense is a great oil for that. And you can use those oils the same way as you use the others. Although I would say myrrh is a really big smelling oil. And so for those would be the ones you would want to put on the bottoms of your feet. You still get the same effect, but you don't have this big giant smell.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so then, Dan, what happens if we've gone out, we have forgotten our protection oils, we've forgotten any protection tools that we have, and we reach overwhelm? Are there oils to get us out of that overwhelm place?
There are, indeed. There are. And my favorite one is another blend that's called Elevation.
Ooh, I like the name of that.
I love this oil. Okay. To me, it smells like the outdoors in the fall. I'm not sure what it is, but it makes me happy when I smell it, and this oil blend was made specifically for helping with being overly stressed. And this one I really like because it's very uplifting and calming. Because when we get overwhelmed, we tend to damper down.
I feel like I'm just going to go out and build all of my dreams.
It
had this lightning effect. I felt my energy kind of rise up like a fountain and start to almost fountain or spritz out of myself, as if it was helping kind of take away all of the crap that had built up and just letting me reform into myself, if that makes sense. That's the picture I saw, was like my spirit kind of reforming up and out of me.
Yes, and actually this is one of my go-to oils, and my story sounds just exactly like that, of what happens when I use this oil. There are a lot of oils that help with stress, but this one I think is really geared towards extreme overwhelm and being overly stressed. And my story is sometimes I'll just have so much to do, and I'll start bouncing from one to the other because I'm trying to keep all the plates spinning. You know how that goes. And But pretty soon I'm not getting anything accomplished, and I just feel more and more stressed, and I start to lose a sense of myself. It's like I've just turned into a tornado, and I can't bring all my cells together anymore. And so when I use the elevation, which usually I put it on the bottoms of my feet and behind my ears, and if I'm feeling really stressed, I'll put some on my chest and on my wrists. It smells good enough that you do want to have that smell all over you. But what I find is that I still know all the things that I need to do, but that level of stress just melts away, and I become very clear, and I can tell which is the thing or two that needs to be done immediately, and I can just really focus on that one thing. So it helps me get past that point of like extreme overwhelm where I just feel like I can't do anything or deal with anything. Mm-hmm. It's a really lovely oil for that.
That's awesome. I think we can all, highly sensitive or not, we can probably all benefit in this day and age. Yeah, from something like that, right?
So true.
Awesome. Okay. Keep going.
So the second oil I have for that is basil.
Ooh.
And the basil is really well known for helping with adrenals.
Ooh.
It's adrenal support. So when we get to that point of just high stress and again overwhelm, and a lot of us, when that happens to us, and especially I think for highly sensitive folks, we get really nervous and anxious. And so the lovely part about basil is it helps our bodies to calm down and helps our mind to quiet that just torrent of self-talk that comes through.
I noticed a lot of what I call the earth element. I almost felt like I was pulling nature in me and settling me. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I noticed with this one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And really simple. I mean, this is an example of just a single oil, not a mixture,
right.
Of an oil that helps with overwhelm. And really, so that will start to affect us on the physical body with the adrenals then.
Yes, yeah. A lot of people will use it specifically for adrenal exhaustion. And it also helps that emotional and energetic level. And energetically, one of the things that it really does is it brings us back to our heart, to that heart space. So again, it just helps to calm everything and be more focused. And one of the other things that it does on a physical level, which is really nice, is that for folks who are having trouble sleeping, it helps to restore that natural sleep cycle.
Oh, that's really important. I work with several clients who have adrenal fatigue, and it's so hard for them to go to sleep, because they're always on kind of recovery mode. So that's excellent to know that there's that support out there.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. And so other things for calming the nervous system, because really when we get on overwhelm as HSPs, what it means is our nervous system is just like on hyperdrive, right? So what else can help us calm the nervous system?
So calming, my top two for calming are, again, blends. It's kind of funny how I picked out all these blends, because there's lots and lots of the single oils that's just one simple oil that will work as well. But these are the ones that I tend to go to.
Well, and I kind of find it interesting in the school of Ayurveda that I was involved in. We talked about making herbal formulas, combining different herbs because they work better in a community. If you look out in nature, nothing grows in like a single grove, right? Everything grows together. So to me, it kind of makes logical sense that oils would work really well in blends. It's like, get your buddies, and let's go do it.
So much easier to do things as a community.
Absolutely. Awesome. So let's talk about these blends.
All right. So the first one is called Past Tense. And this is a really powerful blend that helps our bodies to calm and relax by letting go of emotional tension.
Ooh, I can use some of this.
This one you might get a better smell if you roll.
Woo!
Yeah. It's a very powerful one. So one of the things that it really helps us with is to let go of fear that we are holding on to, which as a highly sensitive person myself, whenever I go into a situation where there's a lot of people, or I feel like there's people that I need to please to stay safe, I start to become very afraid of it. I've learned ways to cover that, even for my, I keep that from myself so I can still function, but it is still there. And so, by helping getting help to release the fear. It helps the body to relax. It helps to release the pain that is created and the stress that's created in the body by letting go of those emotions.
Yeah, this is amazing. The picture that I get is I see tension and fear as almost the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And what I see this doing is burning away both so that the light of who you are shines brighter.
Yes.
So it's, again, kind of another way to make, what it seems like to me, make your spirit, that core of who you are, more available to you to kind of act from that place.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, that's what it
awesome.
does, is it balances the body and the energetic system.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
And so we're just more there.
Yeah, absolutely. I bet that's really great for tension headaches.
It's superb for tension headaches.
I just felt all of this in my body release. I was like, ooh, wow.
That's exactly it. When people get tension headaches, oftentimes they'll just put some on the back of their neck. Right up by where their skull meets their neck is a great place to put it, and on the temples.
Fantastic.
And when they made this, that's actually what they made it for.
Oh,
but
that
then,
makes sense.
Yes, and then they started to realize it had all of these other emotional and energetic effects as well.
Awesome.
And our second one is called In Tune, another lovely blend. I happen to like the smell of it. It has a lot of patchouli in it, so you know when you have that one.
Makes me want to live in the 60s.
It does have very much of that smell.
No, it's nice.
You know, I find that when my nervous system gets overstimulated, that I start to get really scattered, and that's when it's really easy for me to get pulled in a lot of different directions. And so the In Tune is very, very good for that. It's a very grounding blend. It helps us pull it back into our space, into our bodies, and be right in the here and now, and to be able to operate from that space.
I'm just laughing because the vision I got was of all of the rose petals, all of the things that you had strewn about, all came back and created a bed for you to like lay on.
Oh, nice.
So I don't know how I get these pictures, but that's what it was.
I think that means I need to use more In Tune.
Probably. Oh, that's awesome. That was a lovely smell. I mean, I was joking about the 60s thing. That was really nice.
It is. It's a very nice blended smell. And really, you know, what it does is it quiets the mind and just facilitates that space of inner peace. So it's easier for us to make decisions and to be able to interact with other people and hear what they have to say, but not feel like we must spring into action and fix.
Right. Yeah. I think that's really important, okay? Because, you know, I think what we're going to talk about next really hits on this. A lot of people, or a lot of highly sensitive people, come to me because they feel like there's something wrong with them. They feel like the sensitivity is a curse, and oftentimes this has created a little bit of a lack of self-worth, a little bit of a lack of self-esteem, in which it's hard to find grounding in the self because the self feels unwanted or unworthy. So, you know, really the root of a lot of these different tools, protection, you know, and avoiding overwhelm and things, is really building up that inner sense of self-esteem. So I know that you have some oils for that.
I did.
Awesome.
And I picked out 2 oils. These are 2 single oils, and they both really address all of those inner things that are going on inside of us that don't necessarily, people can't see that outside of us, you know, but it manifests in these different ways. So the first one I chose is called Cassia. This one is from the same genus as cinnamon. It actually smells like cinnamon.
I love this one.
And this is the oil that I was telling you about that's a hot oil. You can put this on your skin, but when you do, you want to dilute it at least 50-50 and more if you're going to be putting it on regularly.
And so do you dilute it in another oil, or how do you dilute it?
You always want to dilute it in another oil because essential oils and water don't mix. So I'll use coconut oil. You can use fractionated coconut oil. or the regular oil that that's solid that you can get from the grocery store. You always want to use organic and virgin coconut oil because all of that will get through our skin into our bodies.
Right.
But you can even use olive oil with it.
Yeah, I love sunflower oil too. I don't know if you use that. It's a fairly cooling oil, but it doesn't really have a smell in its base, so I find it nice to mix essential oils in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the cassia, it really helps us to connect with our gifts and our talents. So it really helps us see our uniqueness and the amazing thing that we each as an individual bring into the world. And the other part of it that is really nice is because because I'm so sensitive, I usually try to fly under the radar. I really don't like to be noticed. And so this oil helps me to let go of that and helps me to just be who I am and let myself shine, and just basically helps you live from your authentic self.
That's awesome. Yeah, what I saw was a really intense drawing inwards towards the heart, and then linking the heart and the third chakra together. So linking identity with the heart is kind of the truth of who you are, the seat of your consciousness. So I saw linking those two together for you. That's awesome. I love that smell too. Yeah. That's fantastic.
And then the second oil for this is coriander. And I love that one. It's a really clean smelling oil. And it's called the oil of loyalty, and specifically of loyalty to yourself, which is so important for sensitive people. It specifically helps people who are trapped in that cycle of always reaching out and helping other people, but never giving back to themselves. It's really important for that. And it also, it reminds us that there's more ways to do something than just one way, or trying to fit in or do the right thing. Because oftentimes when we try to push ourselves into those little avenues, what we're really doing is betraying our true self. So this helps us have the courage to step out and do what we want to do and be who we really are.
That's awesome. I just kind of saw it creating more of a kind of like lighting up my aura as like I am a light, and like kind of reverberating that truth within. It also took me back to India for that month I spent in India, so I had to kind of move that energy
that's
too.
So
yeah.
funny. Did they have a lot of the coriander stuff?
Yeah, we use a lot of, I use a lot of coriander in Ayurvedic cooking, and then when I was there, they used quite a bit of coriander, so it reminded me of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it really moves us to a place where we let go of having the motivation of trying to please other people or get acceptance from them, and just simply being able to live our authentic self again.
Awesome. Yeah. And really, that's what all of these oils are helping us to do. And so I think it's important to remember that in any type of healing process or natural healing process, we're not coming from a place that you are broken and need to be fixed. That is not the case. But as we move through the world, we tend to accumulate different beliefs, accumulate different ideas about who we are or who we're not. And the oils just help us balance so that we kind of clean off that window and really start to make our spirit more available to us. So that core of who we are becomes more available to our conscious mind. That makes sense?
Yes.
And so we would really love it, or I would love it, and Diane would love it, if you're interested in using these oils. Do you have anything else you want to say about the oils? I mean, we've kind of gone through our main themes for today, but anything else you want to leave us with about how you love the oils, how they've worked for you, any other success stories?
Oh gosh, I have so many success stories, but today, we presented a lot of information, and it's all very interesting information. But one of the things that you'll find as you start to use the oils is that it's because the oils are the same. I believe it's because our bodies and the oils are made of the earth, the same thing. And so as you start to learn about the oils, a great way to do it is to be able to smell the oils, because they will really speak to you. And it's great to have the intellectual information because it helps you, start to move in a particular direction. but so many of the oils will do similar things, and I do consultations with people, and I help them find that oil that speaks to them.
Mm-hmm. And I did a consultation with Diane, and it was awesome. I came in with maybe a couple of things that I wanted to work on,
Mm-hmm.
and she immediately picked a few oils for me. And then I would smell them, and ooh, I kind of knew this is the one for me. Like, this one is for me right now, or this one isn't. And she gave me the pertinent information that I needed to know. I wasn't overwhelmed with what she shared with me. She gave me just enough information to help me make a decision about oils that would be right for me, basically. And so I know that for those of you who are listening live or listening close to in live hours, we have some free giveaways for you guys. So Diane, what did you want to offer to folks?
All right, so what I wanted to offer is for folks who are watching this live or close to live, if you contact me by this Monday, the first 4 people who contact me by this Monday, I will do a free consultation with you. And then also any oils that you choose to get at that time, I will give you 15% off of those oils. And even if you are watching this much later and you missed that deadline of Monday, which is July 28th,
Yes.
I will still do a free consultation with you for that. So
awesome. That is really generous. So, and I recommend you get a consultation from Diane because she's excellent at what she does. And if you're interested in using oils, using these oils in an Ayurvedic way, and then learning the energy medicine tools that goes along with oils, I do use essential oils in my sensitive self-defense program. And the next program is starting September 25th. It'll run for 5 weeks, and it'll be on every Thursday night for those 5 weeks. You can join this course from anywhere. So even if you are not in Seattle where I'm at, you can join the course anyway and still join us live, receive the information. So if if me by Sunday night before I go to bed, so Monday morning, Sunday night, then I'll give you an offer of $175 for the course. Its full price is $275, so you're saving quite a bit of money. And then if you contact me after that, I'd be happy to give you $25 off a one-on-one intuitive healing consultation with me.
All right, and I highly recommend that class. It pulled me out of a rut that I was stuck in, and I just felt helpless to get out, and the class was fun. Meet lots of other great people, and it's, yeah, awesome. Highly recommend it.
Well, Diane, thank you for being here with me today. I'm really excited about the information that we were able to share with you, and I hope that you find this information helpful.
I do too, and I just also wanted to let you know that I also do classes on essential oils, and I think that my email address is on your website.
It should be on the website. If it's not, I'll throw it up there real quick.
Yeah. So if you're interested in anything like that, just drop me an email, and I will let you know. I promise I don't deluge people with lots and lots of emails and information. You hear from me very sparsely. So, yeah. But if you want to know more about the oils, that's another great way to learn.
All right. Awesome. Well, we hope to hear from you in the next few days or so. All right. Bye.